Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am using some cute reverse confetti products and I used a fun action wobbler on this card. Also, this video kind of goes along with a blog hop that's going on. This is the card I made for Reverse Confetti's blog hop, so if you want to check that out, you can head over to my blog, which is listed and linked down below for you in the description. Okay, so I'm going to do some Zig no line coloring. I'm stamping some watercolor cardstock with Honeybee Stamps no line coloring ink, and I am using some Zig colors. So for the turtle, for his body, I'm using olive green, mid green, and dark oatmeal, so for his body and for his little turtle shell. And this little turtle is so cute. In this stamp set, Birthday Buddies, there's just so many cute little images. You guys will just absolutely love them. I kind of kept this a simple card. I did a mini slimline card. I wanted it to feel or have a lot of white space, but I did add some really light clouds behind the turtle, so I'll show you that in just a little bit. But really it kind of feels like a lot of white space on this card, which is really what I was going for. And then you have this cute colored image that's like bold colors, so there's greens. I'm going to do a red bow, and then there will be 3 different colored balloons. So I've used that no line coloring ink, and I am using the Zig watercolor markers or water brush markers. Like I said, I'm also using watercolor cardstock because these markers will not work on regular cardstock. I am just laying down some color just a little bit and then coming in with a wet brush. I use a water brush pen, but I don't use it like you should. I don't fill it up with water. I just kind of dip it in some water and then tap it off on a dry paper towel to get the excess water off, and then I can move the color around. And as you can see, this cute little turtle is just coming to life. I think he's got the most darling little head, and his little body is so fun. And then you can see that that little ribbon is just wrapped around him. So you can see where I'm adding the detail and shadow to his shell, where you kind of have the spots, and then the other part of his body. So he has a little bit of that dark oatmeal on his spots, and then the rest of it is a green color, and then a little of that dark oatmeal on his toes. Now let's do the bow. This is in wine red. I'm just doing one color and blending that out, but I can come back in to add darker areas and then not blend it out as much. So let me just finish coloring this center part, and then I'll show you what I mean when I come in and add some darker shadowed areas, because I felt like the bow got lost when I blended it too much. So you can see I added some more of that wine red there, blended out a little bit with the water. And I think what helps too is how much water you use when you're blending out your image. If you want it really diluted, then obviously you're going to add more water. If you don't, then just maybe get your brush wet and then just wipe off a lot of that water, which is what I tend to do most of the time. But when I really want to add darker areas, when I come back in like I did on this red bow, I really hardly used any extra water than what was already wet on my brush. So I'm just going to finish this little part underneath his belly. And these are a good size images too. They're not huge, but they're not super tiny. So it really did fit on a mini slimline card. That measures 6.5 by 3.5. The card panel that I have these little guys on are 6 by 3 inches. And they're super cute. I decided to add a little more shadow to his face, which turned out really cute. Now let's do these balloons. I am using deep blue, Persian blue, and cobalt blue. And I'm just going to color this exactly the same, one color per balloon, and then coming in with that water brush pen and blending that out. And when I have a lot of color like this, and you can see I keep, as I'm coloring, I take my brush to my dry paper towel. I'm actually wiping off some of that blue so I don't carry the super dark color all the way over to the area that I want really light, because these inks are fairly saturated. So especially the darker colors, you don't need a ton of to move around. Now let's come in with our next color that other balloon. And you could do this without the no line coloring ink. You could do this with black ink. If you don't have no line coloring specific ink, something that I've used forever until I got no line ink was Antique Linen Distress Oxide ink. That disappears, and I tend to like that in general more than just no line coloring ink because it is water reactive. It kind of just really disappears, where this ink grabs your color. So sometimes I really like that it grabs the color and holds on to it. And then other times I do like the Antique Linen for my no line coloring. I believe that this is the deep blue right here. And like I said, this is really saturated, so you don't need a ton of color to get a lot of color, if that makes sense. And I'm wiping off the excess so that way I can have that really light area on the balloon over by those little highlights that are in there. And then I'm going to just take the dark oatmeal and just gently go down the strings of the balloons because you couldn't really see those. I will use the coordinating dies to die cut those out. And then I have the slimline background, which again is 6 by 3 inches. I am using a cloud stencil. I believe this is my favorite things, cloud stencil, and just adding a little bit of salvaged patina in the background. And it is really light, which is again what I wanted. Now here's those super cute little images, and I just want to see how far down I wanted the clouds to go, but I did not want them to go all the way to the bottom. That's where the sentiment is going to go. So I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue to hold the balloons behind that cute little turtle. And then we're going to come in with that sentiment, and I want to just line everything up so I know exactly where the sentiment needs to be. And this is coming from the Birthday Buddies Banter, and it says time to celebrate, which is super cute for this little turtle. And I do really like the little scripty font that this is written in. I'm going to stamp this in black ink to keep it just, you know, nice and simple. And this is almost like a grounding effect because the turtle is going to be above it and there's no clouds where I stamped this sentiment. Now here's this little action wobbler. This is from Tailored Expressions. I'm going to place that behind my turtle and then peel back the other release tape and then just put him where I want him to go on the card. And then he wobbles. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, I just love him. I did add this to a white mini slimline card base, which is 6.5 by 3.5. And like I said, if you guys want to check out the blog hop, head on over to my blog for all the details of that. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. Thank you for all of your support, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.